Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month, everybody. You know, it's funny when our friend Holly Mitchell was here, the supervisor from Los Angeles, she said, you know, I'm Black every day, but in February, I'm blackety black black. So we're going to celebrate today. Not only is it the first day of Black History Month, it's also a day where we are celebrating the first people, which is African people. And it's also a day that we're bringing together the community to share our joy. And also, we want to celebrate our legacy. I'm Angela D. Joseph. I'm the founder of Women of Color Roar. And I want to thank all of you for being here this morning. It's our tradition here that we start with a prayer. And I'm going to have our vice president and co-founder, Queen Mother Harmon, come up, and she's going to bless the food. I know you've all been eating already, but she'll bless your food.
Good morning. May we bow our heads. Oh, gracious Father God, we come thanking you that you have gathered these beautiful, beautiful array of men and women in this room this morning. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to just call on your name and include you in this program. And Lord, we just want to bow our heads this morning to those who have lost their lives, those who have just in the midst of an airplane. Lord Jesus, we ask that you bless them, the families. Please, Lord, have mercy upon them. And then, Lord, we just thank you for this breakfast. We thank you that you've gathered us together, and let us be here on one accord in your name. We pray, amen.
Thank you, Mother Carmen, for the prayers. And you know, we always need to be covered by prayers, but I'm going to tell you something. I think we need some extra prayers this year. So I want to suggest, and even you atheists out there, I think you need to send up a word somewhere, because we need to have as much covering as we can get in these times. All right, you know, I'm going to go through, we call it Who's in the House. And I got to tell you that this is the biggest crowd we've ever had since we started. This is our 7th anniversary. And it's so wonderful. You know, it's a good problem to have when they say, we're out of tables, we don't have any more. So we got some more tables in, and I'm so happy, you know, to see all of you here. So I'm going to go through all of the wonderful people. So I'm going to just take just a quick little look. So if you can do me a favor, when I say your name, if you can stand up and just give a little wave. So, because we have a lot of young people here, and we want them to know who our elected officials are, so they can come up and they can ask you for a job. Okay. So, all right. So, so we're going to start, and I'm going to hang on one second. Okay. I'm going to start with our newest California Senator, Dr. Akilah Weber. And I can see our U.S. Representative, Juan Vargas. Assembly Member Chris Ward. Assembly Member Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins. I have to give an extra woohoo for 79. Okay. Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp. San Diego City Council President Joe LaCava. San Diego City Council Member Vivian Moreno. And we heard a rumor that you're running for a new seat. City Council Member Kent Lee. San Diego City Council Member Marnie Von Wilpert. San Diego City Council Member Henry Foster III. Chula Vista Council Member Caroline Chavez. Mayor Paloma Aguirre. And the mayor of my city of Lemon Grove, Mayor Allison Snow. The Honorary Charles Bell Jr., Superior Court Judge. Honorable Talisha Martin, Superior Court Judge. City Attorney Heather Ferber. And I know there are many more of you that are here, so do me a favor and please stand up and be recognized at this time. So I know we have some city council members from La Mesa that are here, and I'm sorry that we didn't get you on these cards, but please stand up so we can give you a hand. Okay, coming up now, next we have a presentation from our city council members.
Good morning to everyone. How's everybody doing? Yeah, good morning. At this point, I would like to call my council colleagues up to the stage. Council President Joe LaCava, Council President Pro Tem Kent Lee, Henry Foster, Council Member Henry Foster, and Marnie Von Wilpert, who's here. Let's give them a big round of applause as they walk up the stage. Thank you. You guys want to go this while I speak? Yeah. Today, I'm proud to join this community in recognizing the Women of Color Roar Day and celebrate the incredible contributions of women of color in our city. This day honors an organization that has made a lasting impact to amplify voices, celebrating achievements, and fostering the aspirations of women in color in public service and leadership. Founded in 2018 by Angela D. Joseph, Women of Color Roar was created in response to the unrepresentation of women of color in politics and civic leadership. Ms. D. Joseph's vision and dedication led to the creation of a platform that not only highlights Black and Brown elected officials, but also mentors and inspires young women to see themselves as the future leaders. Through initiatives like Women of Color Roar Breakfast and the newly established Leadership Academy, let's give a big round of applause for the Leadership Academy. This organization provides young women, especially those from historically underserved communities, with the tools they need to succeed. These programs offer life skills, career development, and civic engagement training, ensuring that they are well prepared to shape the future of San Diego. Each year, Women of Color Roar sponsors over 500 high school and college age women to attend the annual breakfast, creating a space where young women can connect with accomplished professionals and public officials. So make sure you look to your right and left and say good morning and be a helping hand. These events not only offer inspiration, but also provide real opportunity for young women to engage, network, and envision their own future as change makers. The Women of Color Roar Breakfast is also a platform for recognizing the strength, resilience, and achievement of Black women, bringing together community members and leaders to honor their contributions. Today, we acknowledge that the leadership and perseverance of women of color has been fundamental in shaping our neighborhoods, our cities, and our nation. Let's take this opportunity to celebrate the visionary leaders and agents of change who inspired us all. And let's commit to uplifting and supporting the next generation of women leaders who will continue to drive progress in our communities. On behalf of the City of San Diego, we do proclaim February 1st to be Women of Roar Day. Thank you.
They're working? Yeah, working.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you. Here.
You know, I get so overwhelmed. Um, I'm just really grateful. And my mother's not here, but I know she would be really proud. Well, there's some people that when I was doing Who's in the House weren't in the house yet, but they are here. I would like to say that our honorable Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, is here. And our honorable, the People's Supervisor, Monica Montgomery Stepp, is now here. So, today it's really important, I feel, that we came together as a community. There was a need for us to be together. And that's why I called all of you all and bugged you so much. And I said, you have to be here today. We need to be together today. And so we asked, Dr. Weber, who normally, we have Dr. Weber come at the end and give a rousing speech that she goes, but today I was thinking, who could come, bring us together, meet the moment that we need right now, how we're feeling, where our emotions are. But the theme is rooted in resilience. And that means that we have the strength and we come back. But who is the person that could come up and share the words that we need right now? And that is our own Dr. Shirley Weber, our Secretary of State.
Thank you so much. Oh, it's always good to see you. Good morning. Wow, I'm here. Okay, good. I am truly blessed and honored to be with you today. I want to thank those who organize this event every year for your determination and your perseverance. Through COVID, through everything else, you've been here. You've raised our spirits and you've given us hope. And I'm just honored always to be asked to say a few words, and then that's it, to you, to when I come home. I'm honored by your constant love and support. Whenever I come into San Diego and walk into a room with all these beautiful, beautiful sisters, there's nothing but love and respect from me for you
and it comes back to me in the same way. So I cannot thank you enough for what you've done to strengthen me, to give me an opportunity to not only serve you on school boards and assembly, but now and serve the entire state as a Secretary of State. And I'm honored to be here. I flew in late last night, and I can't tell you how it feels when you wake up the morning after a plane crash and you just left the airport and you're only a few miles away from the incident, and you see the pain and the heart hurt on so many people's faces. You wake up and say, thank God. He has been merciful to you. That you've been able to get up, open your eyes, and still see the world and call your grandkids and they can hear your voice. So we've all been truly blessed to be here. You know, resilience is something that I remember when we did a class at San Diego State for the community, some of you remember, it was about resilience. It was about the ability of African Americans to constantly battle, sometimes to be knocked down, and to get right back up better and stronger than before. And that is exhausting. I mean, it's nice, it's wonderful to be thought of in that way, but it is truly, truly exhausting. And every now and then you have to figure out how you're going to get back up the next time. How are you going to find the strength to move forward? And where do you find that? And my staff has given me some amazing words to read to you that I won't read. They know that. They're so diligent. They are really, really good. I have great staff who have wonderful ideas. And every now and then when I was in the assembly, they said, if you get one line in, boy, you got it going on. You know, somebody in some speech that I've given, I'd use one of their lines and they were so happy. They were cheering in the office that I had used one of their lines. But mainly because I try to give you what I feel and what is going on. And I'm often in places where I see things and feel things that you probably get the impact of, but may not have the same response to. You know, when you've given me, my staff has given me a name of some very amazing individuals who have changed the nation, the Shirley Chisholms of the world, the Harriet Tubmans of the world. And we can go on with Fannie Lou Hamer and so many others that I find strength from, that I get motivation from. But I want to tell you that there are a lot of other folks whose names you will never hear that are responsible for me, responsible for Akila, for Monica, for all of the women that you see. There was a group of women in San Diego, and some of you may know them, and at some point I feel I should compile all of their names. But you know, there was when I decided, I didn't really decide, I should say, when the community decided that I was going to run for the school board, it was a group of women who came to me. The Dorothy Smith, the Thelma Pryor, the Mary DeWitt, you know, the Ruth Greens. All of these women who fought so hard in this community for a space for Black women. And sometimes they weren't very successful, but they were always there. They were at the school board meeting fighting about the issues of integration of schools and how it was going to impact Black children and whether or not we were going to get the resources we need. And many of those women have passed on. And we still have some warriors here. We still have our Elise Pipkin Allen, you know, here in our good sister, our queen mothers in the house. We still have some of them here, but there were so many women that I met who wanted us to have a place, and they fought for us. And so every time when I think of these famous named people, I think of those women who served on boards and commissions, who were school teachers, the Bertha Pendletons, the Marie Thorntons, who were principals at school fighting for integration of our kids at Gompers. All of those individuals fought so hard for us to have a place. And you will never see their name other than every now and then mentioned in some small way. And yet they were just as powerful in San Diego as your Shirley Chisholms and your Fannie Lou Hamers and your other individuals that you hear about in Los Angeles and all around. You know, they were the ones who made it possible for us to run, and they supported Black women. So they were the ones constantly pushing. I remember when Dorothy Smith became a school board member, it was because our school board president had retired and we'd only had men. It was a core of women It was a core of women, Mrs. Pryor and Mrs. DeWitt, and all of those women who got together and organized other women to basically make the school board appoint Dorothy Smith as the first female school board member. And it was those women who pushed. And Dorothy had a commitment to us that was unwavering in terms of educating our children. So when she decided to step down from the school board, she was smart. She was not just going to announce to the world that I'm not going to run again. She called me months in advance. And I said, I'm not going to do it. And she called me again. And eventually Mrs. Pryor called me and said, I'm having a fundraiser for you at my house. I said, you're having a fundraiser? I haven't said I'm gonna run. We already made up our mind. You're the one we want, and that was it. And those women organized phone bank. I knew nothing about campaigning, but it was those women that you don't know and don't see sometimes who are responsible for me and other women who came after me. And so I want you to focus on those folks like that. I want you to focus on the people around you every day who are just ordinary citizens who get up and make your life easier. You know, I often talk about Eva Wilson, my kid's godmother, because so many things I did I could not have done if Eva hadn't been there to get my kid from the hospital or get my kid from school or whatever it was that I was in the midst of, to just drop what she had to do to make sure I could do what I needed to do. And there are folks like that in your life that if they were not there, you could not do the amazing things that you do. So I celebrate us because of our resilience. It's going to be difficult. We have done some amazing work. I want to celebrate all of you women because 5 years ago, none of these women were in office that we have today. And I can remember 12 years ago when I discovered that I was the first African-American to serve in the assembly from south of Los Angeles in the history of California. And I made a statement at the time. I said, I may be the first, but I will not be the last. I made that commitment to you. And when we woke up after November's election, we discovered that for the first time, we had 9 African-Americans elected to positions in San Diego County area, 9. And that we covered everything from the city council to the school, to the community colleges and the school board and from the board of supervisors. Our first time we ever had the senator and an additional assembly member. It just went through the whole list. And San Diego's only had 2 constitutional officers in the history of California, Pete Wilson and myself. So we have basically covered the base of San Diego. Now the task for us is to work hard to keep it and to expand it. We're only 6% of the population, which means it's not about the number of us in the room. It's about the quality of us in the room. That's what it's really about. It's about us serving the people of San Diego so well that people in Sacramento talk about us. They come to me and say, what have you done to San Diego, girl? And I just say, you know, we just decided to stand up and to stand out and to work hard. And that's what we do. But I want you to realize that the battle has only begun. And you cannot get tired. You cannot get weary. It never became more apparent to me than this weekend when I was in DC, and the blaming of the accident was on DEI. How insensitive, how dumb can you be? How dumb can you be? There wasn't a Black person that I knew of that was in charge in terms of those who were telling folks to land and not land. There wasn't a Black person flying the plane. What is it? Was it the food that we served? I have no idea what the issue was, but it clearly says that there's a target on us. And there's an effort to basically destroy everything we have built. And I said to folks, now is the time to fight. Someone says, maybe if you guys change your name to DEI, from DEI to something else. I said, no, nobody defines who we are. We define that ourselves. I'm a proud DEI. And I would not have let somebody who's never done anything for me determine how I define myself. I remember when we decided we were going to be Black and folks said, maybe you shouldn't be Black, you should be like off Black. No, we are Black folks, okay? And we fight for ourselves. and we fight for self-determination, and we fight for those things that matter in our community and for and each other. And we will not allow anyone to come in and tell us who we are and what we should be about, because we have spent our whole life working for this community and to do the things that are essential for each and every one of us in this room. So I don't know how you feel, but I feel like always, you know, we're in this war, and there's nothing worse than being in war and thinking that you're not, because that's when you get wiped out. So you better recognize it, that this person is designed to destroy us, to attack everybody we know. They've already started attacking me on a couple of things in the paper. I mean, you know, and they're determined. 2026 is a re-election, so they're determined to basically come after all of us. And because they want California. They want California, whether it's recalling the governor, whatever it may be, for things that he didn't do, attacking Karen Bass for something she didn't do. I mean, we've had fires and floods in this state forever, and we've never blamed the mayor of any small or large city for it. We need to be smarter than they are. Stop supporting their words that they say on social media and sending it around to our friends. We need to stop it because we don't pass it along for anybody else to see it. We're going to have to fight for ourselves and for the dignity that we have, and lean on those who have trusted, that we have trust in, and to make sure that they are always there for us, that there is nothing they can do to break our faith in Karen Bass, to break our faith in our state and our government and all of those folks that we have elected. We have to fight for that and not participate in the negative comments. So our resilience is, we have to stand up. We know that. And this is not the time for us to get weak and crazy and start thinking about things that aren't real, spreading rumors and lies about folks who have helped us all of our lives. That this is the time now that we fight back. And this is the time that our friends help us, that all of us realize that we're under attack in a most vicious way without any sensitivity whatsoever. And so that's why I say, you know, I know that where I stand, I know who stood with me. I know the strength of my parents and my family. I know the battles that they fought just to keep us alive. And I am grateful for that. And I have the same level of commitment to you and to this state and to this nation, that we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. And all of us have a unique responsibility wherever we are, to fight, to stand up, to shout DEI. As long as they say they're not going to do it, we need to shout about it, work about it, and not let them define who we are and where we're going. We have struggled and we have come this far, and we will not turn around. So I say to all of you, I hope you are ready for the battle. We have been given some strong stuff in terms of our ancestors, the women in this community and the state. We have been given some things from men who have supported us and helped us throughout every campaign and everything that we've done. We have to stand strong. Our ancestors did it. They never flinched. They never turned back. They always looked up and forward. And so I always say, what would King say today for us? Forward. That's it. Thank you.
You know, we are so blessed in San Diego that Dr. Weber belongs to us. And she's always so gracious and always comes and shows up at all of our events. And, you know, I wanted to just thank you. But I also, you know, I love to surprise you. So I have something for you. So,
Oh, they
all-
got the backpack. Oh, wow.
oh, you want a backpack?
No, no, I
Okay.
just teased
No, you know, you all see me with my friend Tina Duryea. Tina, where are you? So the artist that does these, and you all, some of you might not know the story, but she has they're called Sheroes, and she has individual portraits of women leaders, like, you know, Hillary Clinton and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then she had, you know, Black women too. And I said to her, I said, Tina, could you just put all the Black women together for me? And so she made me, and it's called Shiro's Rise, and this is the backpack. But we also have scarves, and many of you have the scarf. But this year I had a custom made scarf, and I picked out the Black women.
Oh, how nice. There I am.
But Dr. Shirley Weber is now on our scarf.
We love you so much. Thank you.
So, and they're for sale in the back. She gets the first one. And I want you to stay here a little bit longer because Monica Montgomery Stepp is going to come up, and Monica is going to give a little talk.
Okay, I'm not gonna be long. But this, as Angela said, this is a surprise. And every time I get the opportunity to talk about our Secretary of State and the impact that she has had on me and all of us, then I jump at the chance. So that is why I'm here. And I've introduced her several different times, but so I'm just gonna tell you what I tell folks is that personally, this woman is a wonderful cook. She's very, very, very funny. If I call her and we stay on the phone usually when we do talk for about an hour and a half the time I'm laughing. And then when we go over to your Kwanzaa celebration, my husband always says, okay, we got to study before we go over there because there will be a quiz, a Black History quiz at her house every year. And so I just love you, Dr. Weber, and I appreciate you. And I look at this list we have here. Most of the women on here and the people on here, Dr. Weber has had a major impact on where they are right now. And so I just want to uplift that. Of course, her daughter is on here. That's right. And congratulations to Dr. Akilah Weber Pearson and all of the awardees. But we also have Assembly Member Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins on here. This is her second mother. I don't see Councilmember Henry Foster's name on here, but he is here and he has also been majorly impacted by Dr. Weber. So we love you.
I love you all.
We love you. And
be proud.
I'm not going to talk about all the professional stuff she's done because we'll be here all day. But I think sometimes we forget because she's always here for us and she gives us inspiration. We really forget what this woman has actually done in her professional capacity outside of holding a title. You know, she mentioned that there are 9 African-American folks that are in office throughout this region. And that is an amazing feat. It's also, what are we going to do with that?
Right.
And that she's not only an example for the title in which you carry and how you carry yourself, but also the work that you have to do when people have entrusted you with making decisions about their very lives. And so for me, that's what Dr. Weber stands for. So I'm gonna just read last thing. Okay. From her bio. I gotta do it because we don't do it enough. You know, we always calling Dr. Weber. Can you come speak here? Can you come do this? We want you to, you know, but we don't talk about what she has done. So let's just a snippet of her bio. Her genuine passion and tireless quest for equality and fairness in all sectors of life have resulted in her pursuit of reforms in education and criminal justice. Her equity-oriented legislation includes school finance and accountability, classroom safety, ethnic studies, early learners, attendance and dropout rates, quality instruction, law enforcement, use of force and body camera practices, reparations, the first state to have a task force to actually tackle this issue, the CalGANGS database, affirmative action, inclusive jury selection and instruction, predatory lending. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. It's not just the title. It's what do we do with it? So I'll say one more time. We love you. I love
Thank
you.
you.
And it's always an honor to be with you.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
And I wanted to share with those of you that may not know, but Dr. Weber started the Black Women's Institute for Leadership Development. And the women that are elected to these offices, all of them were founding members of Dr. Weber's Institute. And then many of us, including myself, we went through the Institute, and not only did she hand the baton off, she handed it to all of us. And so I wanted to acknowledge that. And I wanted to ask all the women who were on the founding members of Be Wild to stand up, please. Now I want everyone that went through the Be Wild Institute and Dr. Weber's Institute to stand. All of you. Stand. Okay, let's try to get a picture of all the Be Wild and with Dr. Weber, but let's come over here so we can get a you know, I Tammy, come on. And so I have to tell you, so Tammy is now the executive director of Blue Heart Leaders.
Thank you.
Ellen Nash, who is the chair of BAPAC. We've got, is Kenya up here? Where's Kenya? Well, Kenya is the president of the NAACP, because Kenya was in my class. And of course, I'm the founder of Women of Color Work. All of us went through Dr. Weber's Training Institute of Leadership. Have you ever seen, look at all the beauty up here. I have to just tell you. Look at them. And it's funny, the other day I was saying something, I'm like, oh, Dr. Weber gave birth to all of us. And then I'm like, oh, well, she literally gave birth to Dr. Sheila Weber. But the rest of us, she handed off the baton. So any more Be Wild people, if you're here, come on up.
Take my star.
Okay, now we're going to move into the honorees for the day. And so let's see. Okay. So, we have a couple of names for the awards, and this one is the Woman Warrior Award. And those of you that know any of the women, work with the women, you know why they have been named Women Warriors. So the first one is Woman Warrior Award is Cheryl Alethea Phelps. And she has her friend who's going to come up and she's going to speak on her behalf.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Yes, my name is Kelly Williams, and I grew up with this woman, Cheryl Alethea Phelps. And let me tell you something about Cheryl Alethea Phelps. She took her baby steps as a drum major for justice as part of a group of children who integrated Fremont Elementary School in 1968. Every day, her friend of hers, Penny McNeil, would look forward to seeing her friend Cheryl because Cheryl would save a seat for her on the school bus. She would greet me with a warm smile with those dimples and doe eyes. She was a lot of fun, witty and smart, feminine, but not fragile. And even then, stately, Penny told me. Cheryl enjoyed the bus ride from Valencia Park, loved being in Fremont's choir, and especially looked forward to seeing Miss Fawcett. She was a Black teacher there at Fremont, dressed to the nines with a hairdo and makeup to match. The voluntary school busing program came in part due to Cheryl's mom, whom I'm sure many of you knew, Dr. Shirley Jenkins Phelps. She was a trailblazer here in San Diego, who in 1959 became the county's first Black female physician and later the region's first Black psychiatrist. How many of you knew her? Yeah, she was a force to be reckoned. So the voluntary school busing program actually came as a result of something that happened in 1966 when the Board of Education appointed Dr. Jenkins Phelps vice chair of a committee that convened public hearings on the harmful effects of San Diego's racially imbalanced schools. The board's failure to implement any of the 39 recommendations led to a class action lawsuit argued by the local ACLU to end de facto segregation in the school district. In 1970, though, Cheryl left the comfort of Fremont Elementary and went alone to integrate Grant Elementary School, where she saw a whole other side of desegregation. And in the face of persistent racial prejudice, hostility, and exclusion, she persevered and she took notes. Now, Penny, whom I mentioned earlier, frequently visited Cheryl at her home on Coban Street. And she said Cheryl held her own with her three brothers, Randy, and Joseph and baby Joey. The Phelps were preacher's kids. Reverend Grandison M. Phelps Jr. served for 37 years as pastor of St. Paul United Methodist Church. Yeah, represent. Now, that small church provided affordable housing for hundreds of working families in Southeast San Diego. Yeah, Southeast, that's where I remember, Southeast, and established the county's first Head Start program. Cheryl graduated from Crawford High School. She earned a bachelor's degree in political science from USC, and then she moved to Washington, D.C., where she had her eye on changing the world. Cheryl served in many roles on the staff of the U.S. House of Representatives Committee. She worked hard, but she did leave some time for fun, too. Just ask Bert. I did. He told me he was smitten at first sight, saying with those looks and that intelligence, she was, and these are his words, sexy as a... Yeah, he said that. Back at work, Cheryl's role led her to the Republic of South Africa during the 1994 elections. And as a township poll worker, she got the honor of opening the door to a mile-long line of people who were waiting to cast their very first vote. And when she opened that door, she was embraced by the first man in line and then the next and the next. And it turned out she was shaking hands and embraced by hundreds of people who would go on to elect Nelson Mandela as president of South Africa. With plans to turn an old mansion into a bed and breakfast and art gallery, joined by her mom, Cheryl left Capitol Hill in the late 90s. And she became the third African American and the only woman at the time to own a home on St. Charles Avenue. Her mom, serious role model here, who was 79 at the time, got hired as head of psychiatry for the VA hospital in Alexandria. And Cheryl took a position with the Environmental Support Center. But it wasn't easy. one day somebody actually painted NIG on their front door of their home and smashed all of Cheryl's car windows. So after a couple of years, mom and daughter decided to just head back to San Diego. And that was actually 2 years before Hurricane Katrina. So back here at home, Cheryl started her own consulting firm, and she founded the We the People Democratic Club, and she was elected to the executive boards of the California Democratic Party, the San Diego County Democratic Party as well. A co-founder of Equality Alliance of San Diego, now Alliance of San Diego. She built a month-long multi-language voter registration campaign that registered nearly 3,000 new voters in 2007. And in 2008, Cheryl joined the San Diego Foundation, where she used digital media to enhance news literacy, inspiring San Diegos to share their own stories. And then in 2016, she joined the ACLU of San Diego and Imperial Counties as communications director. One of Cheryl's two favorite quotes, actually both of her favorite quotes are from the Honorable Dr. Shirley Chisholm, but one of them is, "You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas." Congratulations, Cheryl.
The Warrior Award 2025 goes to Cheryl Alethea Phelps, Chief Communications Officer, ACLU of San Diego and Imperial Counties, honoring your lifelong commitment to public service, social justice, civil discourse, and community empowerment. Women of Color Roar Breakfast, February 1st, 2025.
I will in a second. Thank you. Good morning. Everything that Shirley Weber said, totally, that's me, I'm with you. We need to change the conversation. We need to be seen on our own, with our own, holding our own. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. I've already had some conversations with y'all, and some of you in the room. You know I'm all about implementing ideas. To my colleagues, I see so many of you in the room. I'm speaking now particularly of my colleagues at the ACLU. Thank you for giving me this platform, for backing me, backing my plays. We are going to launch a strategic narrative campaign. It takes all of us to participate to change the conversation. You agree with me? Oh yeah, to my friends. You know who you are. Those I've had as friends throughout my life. My first friend, who I was put in a crib with, she's right here. The one I grew up across the street with. Penny, I used to save the bus seat for. Kelly, we were in high school together. We go way, way back. And lastly, my family who are here, my brothers Jay, Grandison, and my sister-in-law Rosetta, the wind beneath my wings. And again, thank you.
Women warriors rooted in resilience. And so many of us have these stories of having mothers who really were the ones that showed us how it's done. And I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to celebrate our women warriors, but also the women who brought them into the world and the women that came before us, all of those women that fought the fight. And we didn't know we were going to keep fighting the same fight, though. but we are here and we are prepared. So I'm going to move on to the next one. And during the presidential campaign, those of you not familiar with Win with Black Women, every Sunday they have a call. And Black women, you know, hundreds of Black women all around the country get on the call. Well, the night that Joe Biden stepped down was a Sunday, and 44,000 Black women got on Win with Black Women's Zoom call and spilled over onto the YouTube channel and was on Clubhouse and was holding up phones to each other. But the person who is the founder of Win with Black Women is Joteka Edie, and we are honoring her today as one of our women warriors.
Tonight is an opportunity for us, sisters, to adjust our crowns because collectively we did our part.
Despite the outcome of the presidential election, Win with Black Women founder Joteka Edie successfully galvanized Black women at the polls.
You know what the most important issue for Harris voters was? It was American democracy.
America knows how it concluded. But here's how the 2024 Win with Black Women impact began.
President Joe Biden has decided to drop out of the 2024 race.
Their routine call went viral.
We will do all the work that we know that we must do as Black women, as we have always done.
It all started the night Kamala Harris announced her candidacy. The advocacy group Win with Black Women, a collective of thousands of Black women leaders from around the country, founded by Joteka Edie, hosted a Zoom call to support the campaign. Within hours, they raised $1.6 million and had so many people on the line, they almost broke Zoom, y'all.
Joteka Edie is here, and you describe Win with Black Women as a collective love letter to ourselves.
It is an honor for all of us to be able to usher in this moment, knowing that those who watered this mighty field are now allowing us to eat of the fruit.
6 days ago, you did a call, and look what you started.
We thought we were going to have 1,000 people, and then it turned into 44,000 on Zoom, and then we found out that it was another 30,000 in Clubhouse. There was thousands and thousands of other women who were just creating spaces.
And not just Black women leaders, but the momentum spread across the country.
To have over 130,000 white women, they've raised over $10 million, and then to see other communities. I believe overall it was probably more than 40,000 Black men that were organizing for Vice President Kamala Harris last night. They raised over $1 million. Black men are talking.
A dedicated and seasoned strategist with more than 20 years of experience in policy, organizing, and movement building. Joteka made history early on as the University of South Carolina's first Black woman student body president, followed by the groundbreaking work that led to the abolition of the juvenile death penalty in America. A senior advisor to the NAACP, she also lobbied at the UN and successfully led from her C-suite in Silicon Valley. So whether a win or not, Joteka's motivation is in honoring those who have brought us this far.
I think about my own grandmothers. I think about my mother. I think about Black women who fought in this country, knowing that they would never see this day, but they believed that it would be here. And it is an honor. It is an honor for all of us to be here, to be the ones to help usher that in. And we have an obligation to make sure that we cross the line.
Joteka also reminds the collective the baton has not been dropped, and we are still running the race.
When the story is told, I hope it's not just what Black women did in this moment, it will be how we did it in this moment. We did it in joy, we did it in love, we did it with our brilliance, we did it with focus, and we did it in a way that was centered truly in what was built and instilled and passed down to us for generations and generations. We did it in legacy. And I think that is what is going to be the important story, not just the what happens, but how we did it and what that will do for the future. Well, hello, everyone. I wish that I could be there with each and every one of you today, and I'm so sorry I am not there. But I am so deeply humbled and honored to receive and be the recipient of the Woman Warrior Award. To say that I am overwhelmed with gratitude would be an understatement. This moment and this movement is not just a reflection of my journey, but a testament to the power of collective action, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of Black women everywhere. To be recognized for leadership and commitment to elevating and empowering Black women is more than an acknowledgement of my work. It is a reminder of why this work is essential, the importance of the collective action and the unity of Black women. Black women have always been at the forefront of progress and change, yet our stories are too often overlooked. We are indeed innovators, creators, and visionaries, and our voices deserve to be amplified, celebrated, and respected. This award is not mine alone. It belongs to every woman who has dared to dream, to fight, and to lead despite obstacles placed before her. It belongs to countless women who have come before me and paved the way, those whose shoulders that I stand on, many of you in this room right now. It belongs to the phenomenal women that I stand beside every single day. And it belongs to the sisters of Win with Black Women, who remind the world every single day that when we come together, there is nothing we cannot achieve. I want to thank the organizers of this event, those who believe in the vision of Win with Black Women and the power of the collective of Black women and Black women-led organizations. Thank you for recognizing this important work and for holding space for this critical dialogue about equity, empowerment, and justice. I also would like to take a moment of personal privilege and acknowledge and thank my family and mentors in the communities that continue to pour love and encouragement and wisdom into me every day. It is your support that has been my foundation and your belief that has been my fuel. I accept this award not as a culmination, but as a call to action. A call to double down on our efforts to lift as we climb and to ensure that, particularly in this moment in our country, that Black women everywhere know their power. That Black women everywhere understand our worth. That Black women everywhere know our potential. This is our time. And together we are rewriting narratives, shattering glass ceilings, and building a legacy that will inspire generations to come. Let us continue to dream big, fight hard, and to stand unapologetically in our truth. Thank you from the depths of my heart for this extraordinary honor. I promise to continue this fight with the spirit of a warrior and the love of a sister. Thank you again.
A little over 1 year into her congressional career, rising star Jasmine Crockett was catapulted to the national stage of the DNC, where she provided a bold contrast of the presidential candidates.
She became a career prosecutor while he became a career criminal with 34 felonies, 2 impeachments, and 1 porn star to prove it.
The year before being named a national co-chair for Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, Congresswoman Crockett recalls her career doubts during a highly impactful yet tearful first interaction with Kamala Harris.
And the most powerful woman in the world wiped my tears and listened. She then said, among other things, you are exactly where God wants you. Your district chose you because they believe in you, and so do I.
That was all the confirmation the Dallas representative needed to stand her political ground.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG. I don't think you know what you're here for. Well, you the one talking about. I think your fake eyelashes are messing up. No, ain't nothing. I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Chairman.
And a star was born from Texas's 30th district. Please welcome Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Until the spread of her viral videos of the energetic confrontations with Republicans, many Americans were much less familiar with the attorney and politician from the 30th Congressional District in Texas who refused to be intimidated.
Now that was funny.
My colleagues across the aisle care about sexual abuse, considering that the front runner right now for presidency is kind of just been found liable of sexual abuse. Every time we seemingly have a hearing on voting rights, we talking about the fact that people are cheating. So let's talk about who's cheating. I got a few articles. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is.
Congresswoman Crockett serves on the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability and the House Committee on Agriculture and is a member of many caucuses. And it was after personal racist attacks during college that she committed to fighting for justice and equality for all.
I will work with anybody that wants to make this a better country, and we don't have to agree on everything. But where we can find common ground, let's get to work and stop doing this ridiculous.
With nearly 500,000 followers on social media, this former civil rights attorney represents a new generation of leaders who don't want their fellow Democrats to back down from political brawls.
I'm fearless. At the end of the day, I do believe in democracy. If my district ever feels as if I'm not representing an authentic voice for them, then they will vote me out. But one thing I can't do is not be myself.
Following the vice president's political defeat, Kamala Harris once again personally encouraged Jasmine.
Remember why we do this work. It's because we believe in what this country espouses to be. And she said, and so we need you to shine brighter than you've ever shined.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Do we want to live in a world where we don't celebrate our diversity, but instead we act as if there's only one group of people that matter in this country? It's not a world that I want to see. I want to see a world in which we have serious politicians that absolutely want to make sure that economically we're pushing forward and people are able to realize the American dream. While it may seem as if we are powerless, the power has always belonged to the people, and it's time for the people to flex their power.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, everybody.
Good morning, San Diego. This is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and I am so honored that you have chosen me as the recipient of the Woman Warrior Award at this year's Women of Color Roar Breakfast. I'm humbled to be recognized alongside past honorees, including my dearly, newly departed, but hopefully soon to be newly elected mayor, the former Congresswoman Barbara Lee, as well as obviously the incomparable Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who also hails from my home city of St. Louis, Missouri, as well as Congresswoman Lauren Underwood. And let me not forget one of our strongest warriors who we miss in Congress, but is definitely on the front lines of everything that is needed right now in LA, and that is the former Congresswoman, but current Mayor Karen Bass. This award isn't about me alone. I share this award with all of you, my allies, standing beside me in this fight. First, I want you to know that I have been praying for all the people of California. Now, I understand that you're in San Diego, and I know that the wildfires are roaring down in Los Angeles. But I also know that this is a challenge that California as a whole faces when it comes to wildfires. And I want you to know that whether it's in LA, San Diego, or any other part of California, you can always count on me to stand with you simply because it's the right thing to do. As an elected U.S. representative, I will always stand for and make sure I look out for U.S. citizens, whether you are repping Texas or repping Cali. Just know that. We will do everything that we can to make sure that we deliver federal resources that any portion of California or any portion of this country needs when a natural disaster hits. This Texan will always have your back. The theme of this year's breakfast is rooted in resilience. As women of color, we are the definition of resilience. We know that the world that we live in, the world that we have continuously studied in, and honestly, the world in which we walk and work in, well, we know that every single day, whether we're walking the halls of Congress or whether we're walking the halls at our good corporate Black jobs, we know that we are always having to wield our resiliency like a shield, constantly on the defense against discrimination and injustice. When we look to our ancestors, we see women who have overcome the impossible to achieve acts of bravery and sacrifice, even if we go as far back as Harriet Tubman, who risked her life and crossed hundreds of miles to lead men and women to freedom. To my soror, the late, great Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, breaking barriers as the first Black woman to serve in Congress and to run for President of the United States. I know you've always heard you have to work twice as hard to get half as far, but that means that you are twice as qualified and prepared to take your place in history. In the words of the great Shirley Chisholm, if you don't have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Now, I'm not talking about them other folding chairs from, what happened down in Alabama, but nevertheless, we're not going to go there right now. You all are standing on the shoulders of strong Black women, and just being here today shows your supporters that you stand firm and true as you build your community and your very own legacy. Continue to work hard, stay grounded in your faith, and know your community is lifting you up every step of the way. I'll leave you with this. Each and every one of you in this room is powerful. There is power in your voice, so don't ever doubt yourself or think that you're not good enough. You have the power to make this world better than how you found it. The future is yours to decide.
Well, Congressmember Jasmine Crockett is definitely a star. Because she couldn't be here today, I am asking our own rep from San Diego, Juan Vargas, if he would take her award back to DC for her, and he said yes. But I wanted to ask him, what was it like being in the Congress with her? Her first term, she just jumped out there. So tell us a little bit about Jasmine Crockett, working with her.
Well, absolutely. First of all, good morning, everyone. And again, it's an honor to be here with you. Jasmine's interesting because I'm going to name drop here. I normally don't do it. I'm going to do it though. I got married when I was in law school, and my wife asked me, is there anyone that's really special? And I said, there is a guy with a funny name. I said, and he is special. He's smarter than everybody else. And he really is a terrific guy. His name is Barack Obama. And nobody knew him at the time. And we were both in law school together. And he became friends of ours and friend of mine. And of course, now everybody knows President Barack Obama. And so she always asks me, is there somebody new that you think is special? So the first term that she served, she asks me every time. I said, yes, there's a new representative, Jasmine Crockett out of Texas. And she goes, well, I haven't heard of her. I said, you will. You will. You watch, you will. Because she has all of the energy, the intelligence, and hopefully the opportunity, because this is someone I think that could easily become the next senator in Texas and become the next president of the United States. She has that kind of talent. She has that kind of talent. And she's also a very nice person, by the way. Maxine Waters was mentioned up there. Maxine and I are very good friends. Maxine chairs the committee that I sit on. So I've sat with her for literally 10 years. We sit right next to each other. And on the floor, we sit next to each other. And we love watching Jasmine because she goes, Mr. Vargas, watch this. When she gets up there, and we just sit there and watch her. And she is magnificent. She's intelligent. She's tough. And she's always right on the issue. God bless her, and it'll be an honor to give my friend her award. I told her I was going to receive it for her. She says, oh, thank you so much, and to say hello to all of you. So again, hello from Jasmine from Texas, the proud state of Texas. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to read what it says, and it's Women of Color Board Media Woman Warrior Award, Congress Member Jasmine Crockett, in recognition of your fearless leadership, passion for justice, and protection of our civil rights. Women of Color Board Breakfast, February 1st, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes I try to avoid watching the news, but whenever Jasmine comes on, I get a smile. So it puts a smile on my face. Okay, so we're going to move on, and our next award is going to, let me see. Oh, it's going to be for another women warrior, and Ramla Shahid. Ramla, where are you? Now, wait a minute. So, did I hear a rumor that what you wanted to come up and speak for Ramla? Was that a rumor? Come on up and
You're gonna put her on the spot.
yes. We're gonna have Layla Aziz come up. Oh, look who's coming. See, you know, when you ask people, you say, do you have somebody that, you want to speak for you? And they go, well, you can do it. I'm like, no, not me. I want you to have somebody that knows you. So thank you. And this is one of our award winners. So thank you for coming up and introduce yourself and speak on her behalf.
I'm Khalid. That's not too important, but what's up, everybody? What a beautiful crowd. I can't say, first of all, I wasn't ready to say anything, and you know how dangerous it is to hand me a mic. So other than free Palestine, let me go ahead and say, how honored I am to be able to introduce a sister, a Black woman leader of all of San Diego, because this woman right here inspires me to get up every day. And if I don't, you better believe she's going to be saying, why didn't you get up? Those of you who don't know Ramla, the daughter of refugees who from a very young age, people started telling me, they said, there's this young Somali sister out there. Man, she's killing the game. She's taking heads. She's calling people out, and she's making change. If you don't know her, look her up. If you're not following the work of PANA, Partnership for the Advancement of New Americans, please look at it, because Ramla is one of those few people who make me proud to be an American. And I don't need to tell you all that when I say proud to be American, I'm not talking about apple pie. I'm not talking about, Pledge of Allegiance. I'm talking about proud to be connected to somebody who understands that the American dream is so often a lie. The American dream is so often a lie, but the American responsibility of being people of color, of being Black women, and leading us to creating a better world, not only for themselves, but for everybody, is what makes me proud to be connected to people who understand the responsibility of what it means to be an American, who understands that being American means standing up to the injustice and the hate that founded this country, and making sure that all people, Black, white, Mexican, poor, rich, all have an opportunity to be successful and to be able to show the world that being human and recognizing the humanity of the entire mankind and the entire humankind is what it means to be correct. Ramla, thank you much for being here. Thank you so much for honoring her. Everybody should be clapping it up for Ramla.
That was unplanned, and it is very dangerous to give Khalid the microphone. But mashallah, how can I? Yeah, okay.
And I wanted to say and I told this to Ramla, that my family immigrated from the West Indies. And so I am definitely a supporter of PANA and the work that you do on behalf of immigrants and refugees. And at this time, we have to support these organizations that are doing the work to protect. So I'm going to read it. Women of Color Roar Media Woman Warrior Award, Ramla Shahid, founder and executive director of PANA, honoring your commitment to policies and practices that expand protections and promote belonging for refugees and immigrant families. Woman of Color Roar Breakfast, February 1st, 2025.
Thank you so much. What an honor to be standing on stage, to have heard from so many amazing trailblazers, people I look up to, people's classes I've taken, you know. Dr. Shirley Weber is just a beacon of light for all of us. And every time I hear her speak, I'm reminded of why we should all be engaged in this fight for good. And that we can win, right? That it's the road to, you know, a just future is possible. And I could spend my time talking about the legal defense work, the necessary organizing that needs to happen to confront all of these fights that are being waged against our communities. But instead, I want to talk to you about what's keeping me hopeful. I want to talk to you about what Khalid Alexander, who just spoke, at Pillars of the Community, Leila Aziz, and the community at Pillars of the Community San Diego is doing to create sanctuary for our communities. They're creating an oasis that they've built for members impacted by violence and incarceration. It's a healing space with I think it's a 300-year-old olive tree, right, Khalid? I could be wrong, but it's a beautiful tree in the middle of an oasis that just takes you to an entirely new world in the Encanto neighborhood. And there's so much more work like that that's happening in our communities, including PANA's 2.2 acres that we're transforming into 167 units of affordable transitional housing and a global village market for refugee entrepreneurs. That despite what the border realities are, or what the administration is, that we have it within our power to create sanctuary, to create belonging, and to create a just future for ourselves and our communities. And that we have to do this work to breathe into life the world that we'd like to see, and work towards that, despite everything that's happening. And so I invite you to join me in getting to know more about Pillars of the Community San Diego, in supporting and investing and defending that work against racist prosecutions, defending families, bearing witness at courts to make sure people have a just and fair hearing and trial. And that's the freedom work that matters. And that's the work that's protecting our communities right now. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity, and just what a pleasure to be here today.
We really have to protect and we have to celebrate leaders that are on the front lines. So our next award is called the Changemaker Award, and we give this to a community organization. And this year, the community organization is the Jackie Robinson Y. And you know, they have quite a history. I mean, some of us were new to seeing it, the new reopening, but they have quite a history. And I wanted to have our new assembly member, Dr. Lachey Collins, come up because the Y is in her district. And she's going to come up and she's going to tell you a little bit about the Y and why they are receiving our Changemaker Award.
Good morning. All right, we're gonna try it one more time. Good morning. All right, I am Assembly Member Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins, and I represent the 79th State Assembly District. I am thrilled to be here this morning to present the Changemaker Award to an unwavering force in our community, the Jackie Robinson YMCA. Since 1943, the Jackie Robinson YMCA has stood as far more than just a recreational center. It has served as a lifeline for youth development, health, and community engagement in Southeast San Diego. Throughout its history, families have counted on the Y's wide array of programs, from after-school mentorship, job training, to establishing healthy living programs for all. The Y believes strongly that communities are possible only when we invest in our kids and our health and also our neighbors. And that's something that the Y has done every single day. Every single day. By offering reliable childcare, particularly for working mothers, the YMCA has empowered women to pursue careers and support their families. This commitment to community was on full display last year during the historic January 2024 floods, when the YMCA opened its doors to shelter those in need, underscoring its unwavering dedication to serving as a beacon of hope, opportunity, and inclusion. Even though the floods were last year, they are still right there with them. Doors are still open, making sure that those families in need have everything they need to be able to live a quality of life. A pivotal figure behind the YMCA movement and during the impact was, we all know, Mr. Michael Brunker. Michael Brunker spearheaded fundraising efforts that revitalized the Jackie Robinson YMCA, ensuring that its programs could flourish for generations to come. Under his leadership, the facility expanded its role as a cornerstone for community partnerships, youth development, including vital sports initiatives, but also, once again, childcare solutions that enable parents to remain in the workforce. His commitment not only secured essential funding, but also strengthened the YMCA's ability to foster connection, growth, and empowerment for all. Through Michael's vision and determination, trust me when I say determination, he was raising the heck out that money. The Jackie Robinson YMCA continues to thrive as a place where resilience is built, opportunities are created, and every individual is inspired to reach their full potential. Now leading the incredible institution is the Executive Director, Anna Arancibia, who has dedicated over 16 years to the YMCA. After starting as a site supervisor, she took the helm in 2020, expanding youth and wellness initiatives and championing social justice for underserved communities. And I have to say, I had the opportunity to work with Anna when I was a basketball coach at the Jackie Robinson YMCA. And the YMCA has done so much good work when I say about mentoring youth and making sure that we have some good, strong coaches coming out of our community and so forth. But under her leadership, a transformative $22 million renovation in 2017 modernized the facility, positively impacting countless lives. This moment right here matters especially for women, particularly women of color who drive community transformation. In the words of the late Dorothy Height, without community service, we would not have a strong quality of life, and it's important to the person who serves as well as the recipient. This spirit embodies what Anna and the Jackie Robinson YMCA stand for: inclusive space where everyone is empowered to thrive. So it is my privilege, come on up, to introduce the Executive Director, Anna Arancibia, whose vision, dedication, and passion continues to shape the Y's legacy as a powerful agent of change in Southeast San Diego. So please join me in welcoming Anna to accept the Changemakers Award. Congratulations to the Jackie Robinson YMCA. Hey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Congratulations. You know, organizations do not run themselves. And so we have to honor the people that make it happen every day. And my experience working with Anna has been so wonderful. She's always cooperative. She always goes that extra mile. And so I'm just really happy to present this award to her on behalf of the Jackie Robinson Y. and it's called the Changemaker Award, Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, in recognition of 80 years of community service and dedication to family health and wellness. Women of Color Award Breakfast, February 1st, 2025.
Good morning, everyone. First, let me express my deepest gratitude for this incredible honor. For the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA to be recognized for the Women of Color Award Changemaker Award is humbling. This award is for every person who has poured their heart into the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, every child who has found a safe place within our walls, and every neighbor who believes in the power of community. At the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, we do more than just run programs. We build belonging. We don't just serve people, we stand with them. And my vision and my deepest hope is to make RY the most thoughtful and intentional space for community and connection, not just in Southeast San Diego, but in the world. A place where everyone belongs regardless of background, circumstance, or struggle. They feel seen, heard, and valued. A place where people come together not just because they need help, but because they find a home. We are living in turbulent times. Division, uncertainty, and hardship touch every corner of our society. But I believe that the power of community is the antidote. When we create spaces where people know that they are not alone, when we offer a hand, a resource, a listening ear, we don't just change individual lives, we shift the trajectory of entire communities. That is the work that we do at the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA. That is the responsibility that we carry, and it's the one that we never take lightly. I accept this word on behalf of every single person who has walked through our doors looking for hope and has found it. On behalf of my colleagues, my mentors, and the countless change makers who lead with love every single day. And most of all, I accept this word as a promise that we will continue to fight for connection, for justice, for a future where every person in every neighborhood knows that they belong. Thank you for believing in the mission. Thank you for seeing us. And thank you for standing with us as we continue to build something bigger than ourselves. A community that roars with resilience, with love, and with the power to change the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, now we come to our Women of Distinction Award, and to introduce Dr. Akilah Weber Pearson we have a video.
Good morning, everyone. I am so thrilled to be here with you this morning, albeit virtually, to recognize the Woman of Distinction for 2025. My former colleague, my friend, and our new state senator, Senator Dr. Akilah Weber Pearson. Now, we all know that Akilah has been active in civic life long before she decided to run for elected office. She is a true public servant. But before I get to that, I want to talk about what matters most to her, and that's her family. Family always comes first with Akilah. She is the mother to sons Kadir and Jalil, often seen at baseball games and swim meets on the weekend, and you often see the boys at public events to support their mother. Akilah is the older sister to Brother Akil. She is the daughter to our Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber. She is the wife to Andrew Pearson. And I want to say congratulations to both of you and your families. She's a true public servant, as I said. Now, Akilah was born in San Diego, but she received her bachelor's degree from Xavier University in Louisiana. She got her medical degree from the University of Rochester Medical School. She is a board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist. She leads the pediatric and adolescent gynecology division at Rady Children's Hospital, right here in San Diego. Now, Akilah has achieved a number of firsts. She was the first African-American elected to the La Mesa City Council. She followed in her mom's footsteps and ran for the state assembly, became the assembly member for the 79th Assembly District. And now she becomes the first African-American woman south of Los Angeles to be elected to the California State Senate. Her political career, as I said, has a number of firsts. During her time, she also founded and chaired the Select Committee on the Social Determinants of Health, critically important for marginalized communities and communities of color. She's had 27 bills that have been signed into law. She becomes the new chair of the Legislative Black Caucus in California, a particularly important time given all of the legislation on reparations and what's going on in this country today. We know that Akilah will continue to lead the Black Caucus. And so it's important that we recognize what Akilah has accomplished, what she's done. She introduced me to the Jack and Jill of America, Inc. Foundation, an organization with a long history of support and a legacy for African American children to have better opportunities in life academically and professionally. But I know that my friend Akilah Weber, and I'm so thrilled that she becomes the new state senator, and I am proud to have supported her in that endeavor. But I know, as this breakfast shares with each of us every year, it's about women who roar. And if anyone is going to roar, I know that it is going to be our new state senator, Dr. Akilah Weber Pearson. Congratulations, Akilah. I am so honored to be your friend, and I am so proud to support you, as are all of we. You are the 2025 Woman of Distinction. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I had an opportunity to get to work for Dr. Weber and Weber Pearson. And what happened was I learned that this woman works harder than anybody else. Okay. So she was up in Sacramento during the week, getting bills signed into law, getting funds for our community, then back down on Fridays doing surgeries, then going to swim meets, making dinner, going back up and doing it over again. And I was like, okay, I got to step it up. But I want to thank you for that opportunity. But I want to tell you that all of the things that you are is so magnificent, and I truly admire you. So I want to give you this award. I will read it. Woman of Distinction Award, Senator Akilah Weber Pearson, MD, California Senate, District 39, in recognition of your exemplary leadership, accomplishments as a physician and legislator, and your commitment to uplifting and serving our community. Women of Color Roar Breakfast, February 1st, 2025.
Of course, we're twins today.
Well, good morning, everyone. I first want to start by thanking, in her absence, our Senator Pro Tem Emeritus, Toni Atkins, for that amazing introduction, but also thank her for everything that she has done for our community here in San Diego, everything that she has done for my family. Many of you know that would have never run for the Assembly had it not been for Toni Atkins and all of the great things that have come after that. I want to thank Angela for this amazing award, and we're twins today, but for all the things that you have done in uplifting women of color. This is the 7th annual breakfast, and it's good to know that the work that you do is recognized and appreciated. Definitely want to thank my family, my mom that was here who had to leave, my amazing husband, and my 2 boys who reluctantly come with me to all of these events. But, you know, I tell them I had to do it when I was younger and I didn't die, so they'll be fine. Want to thank my staff and just really all of the community members that have raised me, that have loved me, that have nurtured me, and continue to work and support me and continue to help me do what I do, because I would not be able to do what I do if I did not have my extended family helping with my family as well. Really want to thank you for the theme this year, Rooted in Resilience, honoring the strengths of Black women. But if we do not have resilience, we will not be able to survive these next 4 years. The things that have happened within these last few weeks feels like it has already been months. We are constantly putting out fires on a daily basis. And that is what they want, to create so much chaos, to create so much confusion that people get tired and they just give up. But we know from the rich history of our ancestors, from the rich history of all of the women that have come before us, that we cannot get tired, that we cannot give up, that we must continue. We must have that resilience. We must have that continued passion to not wear down, but to wear them down. And that is the only way that we have been able to be successful in the past. So being rooted in resilience is something that we must do each and every day. And whatever you need to do that allows you to energize and to be able to be your best you, do it, because you're going to need it. And we are going to need each other more than ever before. So thank you so very much for this award. Thank you so very much for the honor of being your state senator. Know that I am up there fighting for each and every one of you every single day. And congratulations to all of the other honorees. Have a great morning.
Thank you to our new state senator. And those of you, you heard what Joteka said. And I want to, just for a moment, everybody else close your ears, but I want to say something to Black women in the room. All the rest of y'all close your ears. I want to say to Black women, the 92%, I want to say, thank you. We did our job. That's what I want to say. Now, I thought it was important that we recognize and we celebrate the first Black woman of color, actually, Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, that we celebrate her, that we celebrate her achievements, and that we recognize she did what no one else could do in 107 days. And as my friend Tina, who's here, pointed out, it was 77 days because ballots already went out. But I wanted to take us back, rooted in resilience, to who she is that brought her to that moment to run for president and be in that position. So I want to bring up her childhood friends who know her. One of them, Stacey Baptiste Johnson, come up. She wrote a book about it. And Carol Porter, the other little girl on the bus with Kamala, and they're going to tell you about their friend.
So wonderful to me. I know.
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stacey Johnson Baptiste. I'm originally from Berkeley, California, and Kamala Harris and I have been friends since kindergarten. We are each other's very first best friends. When Angela shared with me that the theme for today's breakfast would be rooted in resilience, I thought it was perfect, given the current state of affairs, and so fitting since resilience is what we are made of. In my book, Friends from the Beginning, the Berkeley village that raised Kamala and me, I take you all the way back to the very beginning, sharing stories, getting emotional. Sharing stories of life lessons, of grit, vibrance, compassion, passion and purpose, determination, and sisterhood. Chapter titles are qualities I've always seen in Kamala and I mapped those characteristics back to the people that influenced our lives growing up. Kamala and I have been there supporting each other through tough times and sadness and good times, celebrating life and family. I have always admired her. I've always been proud of her since we were in our teens, throughout her career, and especially these past few weeks following the election. The professionalism, dignity, sense of duty, and class has been exemplary. Today, we celebrate Kamala Harris for her courage in picking up the baton, carrying it further than any woman before her, all the way to the vice presidency, and for maintaining a standard of excellence. I'll end by reading an excerpt from the end of the book. And so this was when she was doing her acceptance speech. Watching Kamala approach the podium to address the nation and the world, I flashed back to where she and I started her journey and to the will and resilience it had required for her to continue climbing. I don't presume to know the world of politics inside and out, nor the ways of Washington, but I do know that, especially for a woman of color, these climbs don't have a summit, or at least not one where you can take it easy. She will have to prove herself consistently, time and time again. That made me consider both my mom, who's right over there, and Shamala, Kamala's mom, when they were starting out in their fields, then into their 30s with children, their 40s, and our age now. In different fields, but with similar tools, they achieved great heights, encouraging independence and courage throughout. I wish this weren't the case, but the lesson my grandparents passed down to my mom and my mom passed down to me, you're going to have to work twice as hard as anybody else, still rings true today, decades later. That would be a daunting, profoundly frustrating prospect for most people, but it hasn't been for Kamala, nor will it be. Having shared many of her early influences, I felt nothing but respect and gratitude for Kamala's steadfast commitment to honoring the legacies of our earliest days. Yet, even as I recognize these roots and their consistency, I know that at the end of any day or any journey, no matter the office, no matter how far she has ascended, Kamala has always been herself with me. In that moment, beside the reflecting pool, as throughout all moments I've spent looking back on how we got there, I was left with a smile, knowing I was truly blessed to have such a wonderful friend in my life, a friend under any circumstances until the end.
Okay. Before I start, I want to recognize Doris Johnson and Cora Ward, who are part of our village. You guys can stand up. These ladies are part of the village that raised us with Kamala. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Shamala Goplin, who is an amazing, amazing woman in her own right. I met Shamala at the bus stop with my mother in 1970, the fall of 1970. Kamala and I were part of the second class to desegregate Berkeley Public Schools, unbeknownst to us that we were doing this great thing. That's how we met. We lived around the corner from each other in the same red-lined West Berkeley neighborhood. So my mom was a nurse and Shamala was a scientist. And so you can imagine they had many things in common. Kamala and I are both interracial. My mother's white, my father's black. Shamla is Indian and Kamala's father is Black Jamaican. So they had some other common threads of being in a neighborhood and being amongst people who were sometimes, different than them, but who fully accepted them for who they were. Shamla came to Berkeley in 1958 from Chennai, India. So if you can just imagine and put yourself back in time, India back then, and even still today, is a very patriarchal community. And most marriages, most women, they would go through their educational process and then they would be, set up to marry whoever their parents decided that they wanted them to marry. Shamla, unbeknownst to her parents, applied to UC Berkeley and she got in for her graduate school. And her parents used their retirement money to help her come to Berkeley and go to school there. And that's where, as you know, the story goes, that's where she met Kamala's father. Shamla was a woman of great pride, great stature. I know Kamala tells everyone she's only 5 feet tall, but if you met her, you would definitely think she was taller than that. She was a very happy person. I think she was loving. She was stern when she needed to be, and she loved her daughters, and she loved her work, her science, and her study at UC Berkeley, and teaching and researching. She faced a lot of adversity at UC Berkeley, being a woman of color and being a woman with an accent from India. Which eventually led her to leave UC Berkeley and go to McGill, which is probably like the Harvard, I would say, of Montreal, where she went and she taught there. But when I think of the quote that I've always had in my head growing up, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, that was Shamla, and that is Kamala. And the women, Mrs. Ward, Mrs. Johnson, my mother, Shamla. Mrs. Shelton, who was a second mother to all of us, another pioneering woman that lived in our neighborhood, an entrepreneur. When you look at those women, I see all of us in them. They raised us to be and be about business, stand on business, and be about who we say we are, be that person. And, when I saw Kamala going, running, and all of her, from the time she and Shamla got an ironing board and Kinko copies to go stand in the Western Addition in San Francisco to try and have people find out who she was when she was running for district attorney.
And in front of Safeway.
In front of Safeway. And up to her run for vice president, she has not changed from the girl I met at the bus stop in 1970. She's always been about who she is. And we were raised to uplift other people. That's genuinely how we were raised. We weren't raised to think only about ourselves. And we came from a village of women who were pioneering. Mrs. Johnson was one of the first Black women engineers hired at Pacific Bell. My mother was a nurse. She ran a gastrointestinal lab at Summit. And, Shamla was, a world-renowned breast cancer scientist and researcher. So, and it was hard work, and it was dedicated work, and it was a work of love and a work of giving to other people. And that's who Kamala is. And that's what makes me so challenged that we are where we are today, because she is an amazing woman, not only smart, talented, gifted, and completely qualified, probably more qualified than any other candidate who's ever run for president, but she's truly kind and she truly cares. And I'm so happy and I'm so thankful to Angela for having Stacy and I here to talk about our friends. She means a lot to us, and I'm hoping, I know she's hopeful because we saw her recently in December, and she's very hopeful and she's spirited and she's telling everyone to fight. We got to keep fighting and we got to keep uplifting each other. We got to keep going. This is a moment in time, and we have an opportunity to make a difference in that moment in time. All of us together. We're all together. We're all have more in common than we do different from each other. So let's uplift each other. Thank you.
I want to thank Stacy and Carol. You know, I thought we had already met because we've been on Zoom together so many times. I felt like we knew each other. But I have to tell you that, you can tell people by the people they have around them. And when I got to know them, they were on my radio show a couple of times and got to talk to them. And I thought, they've known Kamala since kindergarten, and they're telling me who she was, how she stood up for people in school, and how she always was defending people, and the heart of who she was. So, I feel that to have them here today, when we're talking about Rooted in Resilience, and we're talking about celebrating our first female, Black, Asian Vice President, Kamala Harris, that to have her childhood friends who've known her, and they were there with her through everything. They're at the inaugurations, they're at everything. And they were in DC this last time, but I'm so happy to have them here today. And well, Tina, you're filming, but I need you up here. So, you all now have known my friend, Tina, who does these wonderful portraits. Well, there's a story here. She had done a portrait of Kamala and her sister Maya with their mother when they were little girls, and she wanted Kamala to have it, but she wasn't able to give it to Kamala because of her being vice president and there being, rules in place. And I thought that her sister had already bought this. So when I found out it was still available, I said, oh, we want to give that to her, because we know, hearing the stories about her mother, and we know what it meant to her and the legacy of her mother, who was rooted in resilience. So we have the painting that was done. It's a one-of-a-kind, unique painting that was done by Tina, and that's what we're going to give. And her friends have agreed to accept it on her behalf. And when I've reached out to Kamala Harris, those of you that were here in 2020 at our breakfast, you know that she did our opening greeting video and named everybody that was in the room and thanked everyone. And then she just went to, Los Angeles, went right to where the fire victims were in Altadena, and right away started rolling up her sleeves. And then the other night she was at that fundraiser for them. But she literally they've just opened the doors to her new office, and I was like, well, we're honoring her, and what was wonderful is that she sent us a personal letter, and I just want you, and it's up on the screen, but it's in the program, so you can, if you go to the QR code, you'll be able to see the program, you'll see the whole letter. But she thanked us, and she wanted us to know that it was meaningful, and so that's the reason why we wanted to honor her today.
Thank you.
And